Okay, we kind of broke this down. Quite a lot of experience around the table of evaluation. We broke it down into different types that we're doing, and there's a lot of crossover with what already has been spoken about this afternoon. So a lot of evaluation done with interfaces, so user experience testing. Good to see a lot of front-end evaluation happening around the table. Experience of evaluation in terms of content development and content testing. A lot of people charged with putting resources into the hands of visitors, so that's why we've talked about that. Experience of online engagement, so that's via bespoke platforms or proprietary kind of social media platforms. Experience of impact evaluation and visitor experiences in larger venues as well. In terms of the methods used to capture that, well, front end seemed to be something that people were kind of keen and well practiced in being able to have as part of kind of formative parts of projects. Lots of different experience of all sorts of different surveys, the types of things we've been talking about today, paper ones, online. A lot of experience of observational around the table. Some summative evaluation experience with the group that we had, and we talked a little bit about different methods that we're using in terms of data analysis online and how we can kind of meaningfully digest that information and bring that back to the wider teams that we're working with. I think we'd split this up quite simply into just advantages and issues, areas where more work was required. In terms of advantages, I think we all spoke about the value of evaluation. I think from the experience of at least a couple of us around the table, being part of quite a small team, being sometimes the only person who's charged with digital evaluation of digital resources, or the only person who's there to produce any form of digital visitor experience, then the value that evaluation has is something that can be seen when it's brought back out to the wider teams where there's no knowledge of digital, so not so much about the evaluation, but about giving value to that resource that perhaps was confusing or a completely new area for non-digitally minded colleagues, and in some organisations they make up the greater number. That kind of crosses over with helping to raise digital literacy as well, to help bring meaning to that resource that has required a lot of resource to develop, a lot of time to develop, a lot of staff, a lot of budget to develop, so bringing that value back. And I suppose the knock-on effects of that are increasing confidence with digital. I mean, that's certainly true for myself as well. It's proof. I think that's how we kind of boiled it and simplified it down to. In terms of the issues, well, I've talked about them in advantages. A lot of conducting and gathering support for need for evaluation. Often it falls short because of lack of resource for the conducting of any particular piece of evaluation. We talked about issues at the ends of projects where there's a kind of widening gap between initial aspiration and outcomes, and how to implement findings back into a project. I think there's other groups talked about that as well. When a project has finished, being able to meaningfully feed back in the results of a particular resource, large or small. And yeah, so it's implementing results. And we had a couple of examples around the table where, in terms of evaluation, contingency was built into the development cycle of a piece of software, for example, to be able to implement the results of evaluation. But that was certainly an example that was in the minority, that with evaluation, most projects is coming, the serious evaluation that most people are paying attention to is coming in at the end, when there's no chance for that to be fed back in to the resource